Hello everyone, this is Sienna, and today we'll be teaching you how to draw the Western Diamondback Rattlesnake. Let's get started! So first off, I'm just going to go through a quick run through of the materials I'm using. The first thing I'm using is a mechanical pencil. Feel free to use any materials you like, but please do use a pencil for the first part of this tutorial. The next materials I'll be using are colored markers. As you can see here, I'm just using markers because they're what I had on me, but feel free to use paint, crayons, colored pencils, Sharpies, anything you want. Okay, so let's get started with the tutorial. I will first be sectioning off my paper into quarters, so one vertical, one horizontal, and I'll be putting it in the top right quarter. As you can see, I drew my circle a bit too small, so I'm just going to change it. Make sure you draw lightly so you can erase. I always like to think of me drawing with a pencil like an ant crawling across a leaf, just very, very lightly. So next, I'll be drawing a curve that kind of looks like a smiley face but a bit wider. I think of drawing this part as like a macaroni pasta shape, kind of that elbow pasta. This is kind of what the body will actually look like for the majority of the snake. For the next part, I'm going to be drawing the top part of the snake's body, which kind of has this wave type curl shape. So now I'm going to be drawing two C curves on either side of the snake, which I'll then connect with one kind of curvy line that follows the same curve of the wave I drew. So for here, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing, but making it slightly thicker with one C curve on one side and the reverse C curve on the other side, and connecting the two with the curve. So right here, I'm just going to do a little bit of retouches. This is where we're finalizing the sketch, so if you see something that you don't like, just feel free to go over it and erase. So now we're going to draw the rattlesnake's head. Start by drawing an oval that kind of makes it look like a baseball cap, and then after that, draw a straight line down for the nose. Then connect that straight line kind of to where, like, it would be its cheek, but to where that circle kind of meets its body. Now we're going to draw the eyes by drawing two kind of frowny faces on top of that oval on each side. Those are going to be, snakes don't have eyebrows, but they do have arches that kind of look like it. So the eyes are actually going to be right below it and just draw circles. To draw the details of their eyes, draw a little half circle in the eye to represent the reflection of light on the eye, and then draw that up and down line that snakes usually have for their eyes. And after drawing the eye, retouch the snout a bit. You can curve it up because rattlesnakes' noses tend to point up. And after that, for the mouth, draw a little frowny face and then make a wide smiley face, and that's how you're going to do the mouth. And at the end of the mouth, draw a little dot so it looks like he's smiling. So right here, you're just going to draw the forked tongue that rattlesnakes have. So kind of just, it's like an upside down Y, so just having two prongs at the end. And the last thing is to draw the nose, where you draw that backward C curve and then just a forward C curve that's slightly smaller so it connects into it. Now we're going to do the line art. I'm going to use my black marker, but you can use really any color as long as it's dark so the ink will show up. So with your marker or line art tool, you're going to trace directly over your sketch. It's fine if you don't follow the sketch perfectly. In fact, if you want to change it just a little bit because you don't like how it looks, feel free to do so. I'm going to start erasing, but don't erase until your materials you've used are fully dry. So I let my pen dry. Make sure you do the same for if you're doing line art with pen or if you're painting. So now that I have all my line art done, I'm going to take a yellow. Western Diamondback rattlesnakes typically aren't yellow, but I don't have any browns that are like their color, so I'm going to use that color. If you have materials that don't look exactly like the same color as a Western Diamondback rattlesnake, that's totally fine. Try to steer clear of like purple or pink because they aren't, like no snakes are purple or pink, but if that's the only color you have, then go for it. Now I'm drawing yellow under the eye, and I'm also drawing yellow along the bottom of each kind of curl of the snake. So draw under the eye and then on the bottom, which would technically be the snake's belly. So now I'm going in with a dark brown, and I'm going to make two marks around its eye. So one kind of like below, just directly below the eye, and then the other kind of going out towards the side of its face. After that, I'm going to make a third mark, starting around right at its forehead and going down halfway, partially to the neck, and just rounding it off at the end. Now, the name Western Diamondback is no coincidence. We're going to start drawing diamonds on its back, so start by making them look more circular. But then as we get down to the body right here, we're going to make them look more diamond-shaped with harder points. I'm going to continue this pattern all throughout its top of its back, but imagine the snake as kind of a cylinder where you're drawing the diamonds and they're curving on top. That's why they look more like upside down triangles right now than actual diamonds. Now I'm going to go in with even more diamonds, but this time they won't be upside down triangles, they'll be actual diamonds in between the triangles. Now once the base colors are done, you're going to take an orange or a light brown and go in and make shadows. How you do that is you follow the bottom like you did with the yellow, but not as tall as the yellow. And try to blend the yellow and the orange together. And wherever the shadows would be cast, for example right there the head was resting on the body, so the head would cast a shadow, draw orange over the body part too. Now, Western Diamondback rattlesnakes typically live in dry, arid areas, which are also like deserts, but I am going to be using green just so it can contrast with the yellow. If you had a yellow snake on yellow sand, it would be harder to see than if you had a yellow snake on green grass. How you draw the green grass is by making little upward curved marks going out from either side. They can be really messy, and once you go down, you draw them pointing more down, kind of like how eyelashes would look. That makes it look like the snake is actually weighing down on the ground. You can go over the grass in a darker color green, making more of the same strokes to make it seem a bit more 3D and have depth. Now take the lighter green marker and draw lightly but kind of messily just green curves going down and up and down again. They don't have to look pretty because you're going to be going over it. And since this is a background, it can look a bit blurry or messy because you do want the main focus on, the snake. Now doing the same thing you did last time with the green, go over it with yellow That way it makes it look more like a desert scene than a grassland. Now I'm going to add some rocks because snakes love to hide in rocks, and there's a really easy technique for this. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw just a kind of a curvy line, and then kind of find the shape and draw a very curvy Y. So kind of like the birds you draw that are just Y looking. Draw just a Y and then connect there's like a corner, so just connect it right there. Then after that, shade one side completely gray. And for the other two sides of the rocks, kind of shade the exact same texture, but lighter, and it doesn't have to look clean. Remember, this is the background, so it can look a little messy because you want the focus on the snake, but just kind of think of lighting, how the light would hit the rock. I think the light would kind of hit the middle, so I'm kind of avoiding those areas so it looks like there's a gap right there. And then I just go around the edges with the gray again and kind of darken it up. And I'm going to repeat the same pattern on the other side for another rock. Now I'm going to go in and color the tongue purple because it's a nice contrasting color. I'm making it a dark purple because snake tongues are usually black, at least for the western diamondback rattlesnake, but I'm using purple just so it can contrast nicely with the yellow. And once I'm done doing all of the snakes, the rock, and the ground, I'm going to use a blue. My blue's a bit dark, so if you have a lighter blue, that might be nice to use, but I'm going to put in some clouds. You don't have to put in some clouds if you don't want to, but I am just because I want to make it look like it has a full background. To draw the clouds, you're going to make reverse C curves, at least for the right side, and make the top one very big, make it the biggest. And then kind of keep going down with smaller curves until it gets kind of to a point, and then after that draw a horizontal line. It doesn't have to be a clean line, with a couple more C curves in between it. And then for the other side, keep doing the other side with the same C curves, and at the bottom draw a little bit of shadow just by some horizontal lines like what you did with the rocks, and draw some more curves in the middle to make it look like a super puffy cloud. And I'm also going to be doing another cloud on the other side. I'm doing 2 clouds, but if you want to add 3 clouds or as many clouds as you want, remember that yellow and blue are very contrasting colors because they're kind of opposite on the color wheel. Not completely, but still, it's good contrast. So a very blue sky means a very good snake that is just popping out at the viewer. Okay, and now we have our final piece. Make sure you add a fun signature and the date below, and thank you so much for watching.